Yeah, I mean this, or it could be that, or this, or this. There are lots of. I might do a flat nine, or I might do. Yeah, I mean, just looking for. There's a second for sure, and it could be. There's another, or it could be that. So there. Yeah, so I think it's just, and I mean, in my case, as you can probably see, it's sort of intelligent guesswork. I know the notes that are available to me. And so it's kind of trial and error as opposed to kind of harmonized scales on string sets. Some guys are really disciplined this way about working on all these various harmonized chords from scale tone chords. And I really don't do that. I just use the formulas to kind of start with an existing shape and kind of branch out from the shapes that everybody knows.
To transpose it into G, and I think you're going to find some really interesting possibilities there.
Yeah, maybe for another session we could play it in G. Maybe I'll do a little homework and see if I can come up with a few clustery sounds in G. And you could too. That could be potentially another session to devote a little bit of time to Stella in G. That could be interesting.
And
Yeah.
we talked about also a little bit about consonant structure. And I've heard players use this. I think it's a pretty interesting thing. You can use it as a reharmonization technique. It can get a little strange. It can get a little outside. But let's say we were going to use it on this tune, and we're going to use this minor 11 chord. So we could go. We start with an F minor 11.
Absolutely.
Nice little idea, right?
Yeah.
But you can try to keep that shape and see what it sounds like. Now it's getting kind of interesting because you're in like D minor.
Yeah.
It's normally supposed to be F minor, right?
Yeah.
And then what would it be here? It'd be F minor.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, you're just really kind of reimagining the harmony using some of these parallel kind of movements. And, in some cases, like what John Coltrane or Bill Evans would did, the harmonies were so radically different from the original that even a very experienced player wouldn't pick up on that. So they just rewrote the changes.
Absolutely. And, you might only do it for 8 bars and then go into the regular changes. So it's sort of
Exactly.
It's a nice contrast to get
Exactly.
In this tune, you actually can't get away with it for more than about 8 bars anyways.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Another thing I enjoy about your playing, John, is you use a lot of pedals to great effect. And I think this tune is it's a very nice tune to use pedals on. So for instance, if you want to use an A pedal, if you're a 7-string player tuned down to 8, that's a really nice thing. So you could be going, maybe instead of making it half diminished, you could, put the natural fifth in there, and then and then when it goes to your C minor, you could still use the A pedal.
Yes, you could.
It's interesting.
But especially when there is no bass, it's nice if, say, it would be a duet situation with you and I, or if one of us was playing with a singer or a horn player. Pedal points sometimes can be a way that kind of static reference in the bass can be useful, or have a very specific bass movement in mind, as you demonstrated. With a bass, that probably wouldn't be necessary. Maybe it would be too much referencing the lower register, but without bass, it's great. Yeah. One particular sound while you're referencing your notes that I like, and we can maybe talk more about some of the theory perhaps in another session, but a sound that I like a lot because this tune has lots of half diminished chords in it is that Locrian sharp 2 sound. I heard you referencing that too. So that's just the 6th mode of the melodic minor. So I think of these modes as keys. So basically that translates into melodic minor or minor third above a half diminished. So I'm using G melodic minor voices as the half diminished.
Yeah, I love that.
And that could also work for potentially for the A7. It's just a sus with a 13 flat.
Part of this tune that I think that gets glossed over, I think might be a way to say it. This goes for the same in any standard tune, which is the turnaround. There can be some things that are done, let's say in a solo context, because if you're playing in a group, if you're always throwing these weird turnarounds at people, you might get a dirty look or something. Who knows? I was thinking about talking about a few of the common turnarounds that guys would use. On a tune like Stella, if we did it in B flat, and that would be so the last is we're talking about the last 2 bars of the tune, right? So the last 2 bars would be you go to B flat major 7, then if 1 bar of A minor 7 to D7, so 2 beats each. A minor 7 flat 5 to D7 flat 9. So then that turnaround could be B flat major to A half diminished to D7. And then you can just go back and play the regular changes. If you feel
so Latin 3 would be like, make that a quarter. I'll do a chorus and I'll turn it over to you.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3.